Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new health conversation. For the censors out there that guard the community guidelines, we always assure you at the new health conversation that we stay well within the bounds because we only quote from peer-reviewed human trial studies. We give no opinions at all. We only supply information that people can see on their own. We're here to educate people. We don't have any products to sell. We don't sell anything. We are here as a great resource for people that are interested in health or losing weight. So we always like to tell you that. Hello and welcome, everybody. I think you can see right there that she lost 21 and a half pounds and 38 inches in just 30 days. This is a major, major scientific breakthrough. It is not a diet. They unlocked her extraordinary weight loss secret. It's proven in 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Now, the thing that I want to impress upon you, this is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. And it's certainly, no one was allowed to exercise. Not that they're against exercise, but they didn't want exercise to be an outlier, if that makes sense to all of you. So I always ask right away, number one, if someone wanted to lose 20 pounds, how long would you give yourself? And does anyone know the actual definition of a calorie? Hello, Weenie. Hello, Mariah. Hello, Barbara, DGV, Felicia, Myra. This is live, by the way. This is not pre-recorded. It's not an infomercial. It's an educational podcast. We're going to explain to you the science. How in the world is this even possible? I mean, how many of you would give anything to lose 20 pounds, let alone losing 20 pounds in 30 days with no exercise? And the thing is that number one, she lost no water weight, and instead of losing any lean muscle, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. I'm going to summarize it for you here in just a moment, but I want to show you just a couple of the before and afters just to show you how powerful this is and why hopefully you'd be interested in finding out more about it, okay? So Stacia, baby girl, Maria, I think that is. So everybody, let's take a look at Julie here. How about 35 pounds in 37 days? Look at her body. I know you think it's a different woman or we photoshopped that it was 8 months later. No, that was exactly 37 days. And then this is the daughter of a friend of mine. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months. That's 5 pounds a week for 3 straight months. It is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It has nothing to do with any of that. And then you always hear, when you get older, it's a lot harder to lose weight. Wait do you see this gentleman, about 65 years of age? Look at this. He lost 40.8 pounds and 52 inches in just 30 days. His lab work, A1C, went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. None of these people counted calories. As a matter of fact, they were forbidden from counting calories. They were given serving sizes and specific grocery lists, a wide range of things that you can eat, but there was a whole different parameter. I'm going to explain that to you in just 1 second. So let's come back over to Kristen and get right into it because I know everybody's busy and they have short attention spans. I know that to be the fact, right? So what the researchers who invented this did, and by the way, if you like what you see, give a tap on the screen and let's get some likes. Let's get some love going here, right? Now, thank you. I see the hearts coming up. So what these researchers had done, they had done 100 studies over 40 years, 4 decades. And sadly, they came to a conclusion. Now, they were hired to analyze diets, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, whatever it was. That was their job. And they said that after 40 years, they never found a diet of all the diets they analyzed where anybody was ever able to keep the weight off long term, and 2/3 of the people ended up gaining more weight than they lost. And there was a reason for that. The main reason for that is that people kept coming on these diets, and it was some form of counting calories. Let's be honest, that's what a diet is. But where you would completely miss the boat, a calorie. Do you even know what a calorie is? I don't know why you'd be counting calories when you don't know what it is, but worse, the human body has no idea what a calorie is. If you think you're hungry because of calories, you missed it totally. You're alive because of 3 things: air, water, and something you need a minimum of. And it's not calories. You know what it is? Nutrition. So what the researchers proved was the fact that what diets do, they actually make you unhealthy. Because when they measure 25 to 40% of the actual weight, so if you lost 10 pounds at 20 or 30, 40, 25 to 40% of that is lean muscle mass. Well, by definition, when you lose lean muscle, it slows down your metabolism. You slow down your metabolism, obviously you gain all the weight back and more. But in addition, when you lose lean muscle mass, something you probably didn't know, it also slows down your own immune system. So the very diet you're on right now is actually making you unhealthy. That may make you mad. I hope it does, because I hope you're willing to be open for yourselves and learn this incredible scientific breakthrough. Now, so what did the researchers do that was different? Well, number one, no one was allowed to, no calorie counting. So they picked foods found foods that had the highest level of nutrition despite lower amounts of food. You wouldn't eat, you only eat up to the point where your body is satisfied from nutrition, not from calories. Please, let me repeat that. You only eat up to the point where you have enough nutrition, not because you have enough calories. Because what the brain's figuring out, do we have enough fuel to run all the organs, brain, kidney, liver, heart, etc.? Because it doesn't run on calories, it runs on nutrition. Does this make sense to everybody? Can everybody understand this concept, right? Biz or Amber or Linda or RW, Bunny, A or YMI, Jesse. Okay, so you got the concept. So they put together a food list that you would get, that she got, you actually would take to the grocery store. And it included proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, vegetables, and salad dressings. But instead of giving you calorie amounts, they're giving you serving sizes. Now, don't freak out thinking, oh, the serving size is too small. Get that out of your mind. The only thing that'll ever fill you up and make you feel full is if you have enough nutrition. Not because you had enough food, not because you had enough calories. It has nothing to do with that. If you thought of food this way, okay, the typical food, even if it's organic in this country, is becoming more and more nutritionally insufficient. So what that means is we have to keep eating more food to get the quantity of nutrition. So the researchers said we can't go just 100% food from the United States. We tried that for 40 years, it never worked. So they found other researchers who had gone around the world for 20 years to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and found foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So they put together a nutritional system, that's what they call it, which was a combination of, let's say, food for the United States and these incredibly massive amounts of nutrition in these foods around the world, even in areas, you've heard probably the term blue zones, where people live to be 100 years old. So some of those nutrients actually came from those areas. So now they had the foods. Now, what was the next thing they had to do? Well, you think it's easy, they just start eating. They created a whole new what's called an eating pattern called protein pacing. Now, this is until you lose the weight. So essentially what they did, 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these, let's call them exotic foods around the world. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. So 5 days a week, you'd be eating 4 times a day, 4 meals. 2 days a week, you do something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Now, don't get sideways on me. It's not fasting. It's not water fasting. It's not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, you're going to eat 8 times a day. Yeah, you're going to eat about every hour and a half to 2 hours. And so you're fasting with nutrition. I know it sounds crazy. Well, first of all, a lot of diabetics say, oh my God, they must have had insulin spikes. No, the reverse was true. Nobody had an insulin spike. And people that weighed 300 pounds were not hungry. Again, if I can get anything across to you, is this: your hunger is not based on calorie deficit. It's based on nutritional deficit. And the researchers figured it out. If they could give you enough nutrition, regardless of how much or how little food you ate, that was going to be the secret. Well, they did it. They proved it. In a month's time, they saw hunger come down 41% in people. Is that crazy? Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all coming in amazing. Now, this will probably surprise you. The number one reason to do this is not to lose weight. It's probably the number 3 or 4 reason. The number one reason to do it is because you and me and every person in the world has this medical syndrome now called TDOS. Now, you can pretend you don't, but you do. The T is for toxins. The D is for nutritional deficiency of our food, overweight, and stress. Now, what it actually means is it's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Oh, I forgot to mention, Peter Greenlaw, he discovered it. Oh, that would be me. But anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is we now know that we're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals. And as those come into your body's taking them. Once the liver can't deal with them anymore, the body has no choice. It takes them and stuffs them inside your visceral fat. Your visceral fat is the fat around your organs, and why all of you complain to us, not just about how much weight you've gained, but how much fat. You'll notice her stomach shrinking massively just in 30 days. Day 1, that's the indication of those fat cells that have expanded. And then on day 30, as you remove the chemical from the fat cell shrinks. Most women lose a whole dress size in a week on this with no exercise. Men, 2 to 4 inches off your waist. I lost 8 inches in about 18 days. I went from a 42 to a 34-inch waist. I'm still a 34-inch waist 23 years later. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. I kept it off for 23 years. So the number 2 thing that's most important about this, beyond detox, is maintenance. Now, how easy is maintenance? Simple. You have one of these world's most perfect meals for breakfast every day. Then you have a lunch and a dinner, and then maybe every couple months do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast, assuming you've lost the weight and you're at your goal. This is a new lifestyle. That's easy. Now, do I still have pizza? Do I still have ribs? Do I still? Of course. I still live my life. But you've got to get to the starting line first. It's like you got to prepare to get to the point where you can go on maintenance. It's called R2M, race to maintenance. Isn't that a crazy name? That's what the research is called, the race to get you to maintenance. And the researchers who created this, they don't have any, there's no products to buy here. Do you ever understand? So there's no lotion, potion, a magic elixir. We're going to sell you a bottle of something to lose weight. No. You're using regular food, but a completely new way of eating that is sustainable for the rest of your life. How many of you, again, I'd love for anybody to put in the chat, if you want to lose 20 pounds, how long would you give yourself? And keep those taps coming. Oh, we got 1,100 already in 10 minutes. That's wonderful. 1,100 likes. I see Baby Girl. You've been on before, Baby Girl. I know I've seen you on there. And Coco 1225 and Maria, lots of you. The Real Concrete. We've got user 561. We've got Baby Girl, Lisa, Suzanne. Maybe it's Liza. I'm calling you Lisa. I didn't mean to mispronounce your name. I'm sorry. Gloria, it took me 1 year to, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, can you, if you be kind enough, just comment about what you're looking at right there. Just tell me what you think about her losing that in 30 days with no exercise. I'd love for you to tell me. And I dieted like a fiend. See, that's you're proving my point. Diet, and now let me read to you, all of you, the sad reality of how bad diets really are. This is the title of this study, and I've got many more. I even have Harvard Medical School over here. Stop counting calories. But wait till you hear how shocking this is. And again, oh, I'm jealous, but you don't need to be, okay? It's just you understand you didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know about this. Nobody did. It took them 40 years to figure this out. 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. So Liza, let's keep going. And I had pre-diabetes, so I had to diet. This, by the way, this was invented by a diabetic, just to let you know. Do you know that, did you see the diabetic on here? Look at this in a month's time. Look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124, Liza. 40 pounds in a month, Liza. 40 pounds in a month. What do you think about that? Is that crazy good? Exciting? I mean, do you know that insulin, the need for insulin, as you would know as a pre-diabetic, that's one of the things you're worried about, it came down 41% in 30 days. And like him, he was on meds. They had to cut his meds by 50% in 30 days. He was over-medicated. Isn't that great? Oh, so you're saying that's unbelievable, right? And look, he's an older guy. He's 65 years old about. Look at his stomach. That's not Photoshop. All from his stomach. Well, a lot of it's from his stomach, but if you look at Kristen even, now the reason that I point her out, she only had 30 pounds to lose, everybody. So think about it. She lost 70% of what she wanted to lose in just 30 days. But look at her stomach. Can everybody see that? And look at her hips. Look at her hips. Look at everything. Ah, Liza, how would you like that to be gone? Would that be exciting? Now, again, Liza, let me tell you something. And also Coco and everybody else on here. The thing that's also cool about this, do you notice, see it in blue, everybody there? That's the free medical website to go to. We won't contact you. There's all the medical proof. If you like what you see, you get a free coach. Guess how much the coaching is, everybody? $0. Guess how much the consultation is, everybody? $0. This is the real deal. This is science-based. That's what we're doing. Our job is to make you aware. We don't have any products to sell. Huh. I don't have any products. Nothing inside my coat. No rabbits, nothing. Just me. Oh, I love doing this so much because the audiences are so wonderful. Eliza, right there, that's not a link. So go to Google and type in the new health conversation. You can't put links on TikTok, by the way, just so you know. The new health conversation, there it is, and there's the website. And I promise you there's nothing to buy there, but you will see #1 exclusive podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. I will tell you this, of the people that go there and watch that podcast, every single one wants to do this. They're the top weight loss people in the world. And they say in the interview, they will never recommend any form of traditional diet ever again to any of their patients because they said it's a farce. They said, we're having people lose, it takes them 8 weeks to lose as much weight as a week on this, and they're losing on all these diets, they're losing 25 to 40% of lean muscle mass. All these people are gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. I mean, this one, I love this picture. You talk about making us happy about somebody. How about that, everybody? That's 200 pounds in a year, and she's kept it off. Well, she had a big smile to start out with. And look at, where's the loose skin, everybody? No surgery. What happened to the loose skin? You talk about a stomach? You talk about a stomach, Liza? Hello? But isn't that neat? Isn't that wonderful to be able to offer this to human beings? Of course, she did it. But it's not a diet. It's essentially a lifestyle that initially you go pretty fast to get the weight off, and then it's easy to maintain. Look, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I hope I don't look fat to all of you, because I'm not anymore. I went from a 42 to 34-inch waist in 18 days, and I've kept it off for 23 years. Most women on this lose a whole dress size in a week. Well, you can see it in Kristen here. Look at how much her stomach went down. Well, that's with no exercise. Liza, what do you think about that? So you see the link now, Liza, the New Health Conversation, where you type into Google, or any of the rest of you. Come on, everybody, don't flame out. I mean, we're at 1,500 likes. We got to get a lot more than that. So who else would like to comment? Please, I'd love for anybody else to comment. So Coco, can you comment? What do you think about this, Coco? Miss Queen, hello, Miss Queen. I don't know if people come on, maybe they get intimidated. They see this and think it's fake, but it's absolutely real. And we got so many others. If you go to the website, there are people that lost 100 pounds. They have no loose skin. Well, look at my friend's daughter. How about 60 pounds in 3 months? That's a pretty good indication, isn't it? Now, before you think it's a different woman, I get accused of that all the time. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. So, Lisa, you're clear. You see it there in blue above her head, the New Health Conversation. It's the same woman. I know she has a different hairstyle. No, we didn't Photoshop my friend's daughter. I mean, I guess you could think we did, but we don't have to. The reason we don't have to make up anything, the only reason I'm laughing is because this new weight loss protocol, which took 40 years to figure out, is now published in the 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. And when you get published, it means they've had it analyzed by the top nutritional weight loss doctors in the world. This is for real. What, Coco? Well, can we do me a favor? Fill it out again, and I promise, the minute I come off it, you will get called immediately by a coach. I promise you. Now, in fairness to us, there's so many people that want to do this now that sometimes we don't want you falling through the cracks. So you must have been on one of my podcasts earlier if you knew to fill out the form. Am I correct? Please accept my apology, all right? I'm the chief cook and bottle washer. I started the New Health Conversation, and I take huge responsibility. But again, we're also human beings, and sometimes we just, we missed you for whatever reason. So please just fill it out again. And the minute we hang up from this podcast, I will go and I will personally look and make sure you get a coach call today. How's that sound? Is that cool? No wonder you're not asking questions. You already heard me. And I guess you were coming back again because you thought that we were like stiffing you or something, which we didn't do, of course. Come on, everybody. We're stuck at 1,500 likes. Come on, tap on that screen. That's all you need to do. Of course, Coco, you deserve it. And please don't hold it against us. Remember, we're doing all this for free. This is complete free coaching. So I can't be too hard on the coaches, and we got a whole cross-section of people that are doing this. And a lot of times what happens, Coco or Liza, is that people go on this and they have such amazing results that all of a sudden their neighbors or friends or relatives want, what are you doing? What are you doing? And a lot of them decide, hey, can I coach my friend? And so we teach them how to do that because, again, you wouldn't know this, everybody, but you get this is what that's what the researchers developed. You can read it, The Blueprint for Success. And all these yellows here are actually daily videos explaining to you exactly what you're doing on a daily basis. And It's all free. All the coaching's free, all of that. Only thing you're not buying anything from us. There's no products to buy. You're buying food, everybody. You're buying food, but just not the kind of food. Well, 30% of the food you'd be familiar with. You buy it in your grocery store. You get a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But the other 70% of what you consume in a month on this protocol, until you get to your goal, come from these other researchers who'd gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition. So what was the concept? Here it is. Can we give you more than enough nutrition over and above the minimum amounts you need to run your body in the least amount of food? That was the concept. And in doing that, creating two new ways, they call them eating patterns: when you ate, what you ate, how much you ate, etc. And you learn all that. We teach you how to do. We got coached. We didn't know how to do this either, because the researchers, when they invented this, when they put this together, they started about 13 years ago. Well, they started 40 years ago, realizing that diets don't work. But really, these first studies started about 13 years ago. And they take a really long time. They cost a lot of money. And why? I'd love for anybody, Lisa or Coco, have you ever seen anyone on social media with one shred of medical evidence? One shred. I haven't. And yet everybody's following these people that are just giving you opinions about your health. And of course, like you said, Liza, you killed yourself to lose the weight. It took you a year, and I'm sure you gained it all back. Well, because 2/3 of people, you're lucky you only went back to where you started, because 2/3 of people are gaining more. No, Helena, no, not two different people. Sorry, that's my friend's daughter. That's what everybody says. That's my friend's daughter. No, 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 no. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about any of these people if you looked at it. But no, I love that people say that. But 21 pounds in a month, 38 inches. It's the same woman, just different hairdo. But no, it's the same girl. Yeah, same woman. Sorry, not girl. And when you see things like that, I understand you're skeptical. But what you don't understand is when this protocol is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, that's what's called irrefutable medical proof. So again, I appreciate the comment, because I get it on almost every podcast when I show, and then when I show something like this, is that the same woman? Is that a different person? Oh, 200 pounds back in a year, and she's kept it off. Where's the loose skin? You think we photoshopped that too? I'm not mad. I'm just, it's a typical reaction, because this seems like it's impossible. How is that even on the same planet? No, it's not a shake mix. No, 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 no. No, Helena, why are you don't even, I haven't even explained what it is yet. So you're jumping ahead. Do you have some inside information or something? Oh my gosh, that's funny. So I'm going to explain to everybody what they did and how this came about. So the researchers who put this together, or invented this, or discovered it, hey, here's the deal. They're rated the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Rated number one. They had done 100 studies over 40 years, analyzed almost every diet there was. And you know what they found? There was no diet ever they could find where people lost weight and kept it off. I'll tell you how bad it's getting. From 1990 to 2025, in 35 years, the obesity rates in this country have doubled. We have twice as many obese and overweight than we did 35 years ago. So we're not staying ahead of the obesity trend. Right now, Johns Hopkins Medical School, I have it here somewhere. Oh, right here. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese. They project by 2048, all American adults will become overweight or obese. Does that sound to any of you like what you're doing, traditional diets work? That's why the New Health Conversation is the movement that I started. I think, look, I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I'm not telling you to impress you. I wrote 4 best-selling books from the biggest medical doctors in the world, 20 shows on PBS public broadcasting, interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America, and did over 1,500 live lectures in hospitals and universities and school around the world, including even in China. But for 22 years in the medical world, you know what that meant? Zero. Why? Because in the medical world, unless you have a peer-reviewed human trial study, it doesn't mean anything. It's not a scientific paper. It's not a clinical trial. It's a study done on human beings that takes a long time, and they're vetted by the top researchers in the world. I mean, all the studies are saying. I mean, let me read again from this title, a landmark meta-analysis by Tracy Mann and colleagues. Tracy Mann is one of the top weight loss researchers in the world for more than 30 years. And published in the American Psychologist, they reviewed 31 long-term studies on calorie-restricted diets and exposed the harsh truth. I'm reading from the report. The analysis, this is what they're saying, the analysis concluded that dieting itself predicts future weight gain. Whatever diet you're on now, you're going to gain weight. How's that sound, everybody? Is that exciting? Not on this. This is called R2M, race to main. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. This is 8 or 9 years ago, that picture, all the pictures I'm showing you, whether it's my friend's daughter, who everybody thinks is a different woman, it's the same woman, 60 pounds in 3 months. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. The main reason to do that, the main reason to do this is not to lose weight. That is a given. We consider that the booby prize, right? So anyway, what the researchers did, they said, the reason diets failed was people are counting calories, and the human body has no idea what a calorie is. It's one of the dumbest things we ever came up as human beings. The only thing the reason you're alive is because of 3 things: air, water, and something you need a minimum of. And it's not calories, it's nutrition. So the researchers said, if that's the case, we need to figure out a way to be able to give people at least enough nutrition. See, when you don't have enough nutrition, which is what happens on a diet, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, you reduce the amount of nutrition, the brain senses not enough fuel to keep us alive, run all the organs, the brain, kidney, liver, heart, etc. It panics, goes in starvation mode, prevents you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cell, which is what we should be burning, not the fat itself, but it's actually the triglycerides in there, but that's a whole other ballgame. And then what it does to survive, it burns our muscles for fuel. That's where 25 to 40% of what you're losing on a diet is your lean muscle. Let's say you lost 20 pounds. 5 to 8 pounds of the weight you're losing is your lean muscle, which slows down your metabolism. Then that's why you plateau. That's why you come. Look, Liza was just saying she spent a whole year to lose 20 pounds and it killed herself. A year. She did it in a month. 21 pounds. And this is backed by real medical proof, not my opinion. I don't want anybody to believe me. So what did she do? Why is it so different? Pretty simple, but hard. Oh my God, Coco, we have all kinds of people with no gallbladders. I have a young woman, Coco, in Florida. Okay, you ready for this? She's 5 feet tall. She started at 265 pounds, 30 years old. So, Coco, how much weight do you think, any of you can guess, D. Green or Helena, how much weight do you think she lost in 6 months? Put it in the chat before I tell you the answer. I'm just curious. No, she has no gallbladder, 30 years old. You got 3 young kids, and basically couldn't get on the floor to play with the kids. You can imagine, only 5 feet tall and 265. I'm waiting, Coco. Tell me, I'm guessing. 75 pounds. Woo, getting warm. Not even close. She lost 165 pounds in 6 months, no loose skin, and she's kept it off now for more than a year with no gallbladder. How's that sound? This is crazy. I know it's crazy, but we see it all the time. I mean, look at this older guy, everybody. 10 pounds a week. 10 pounds a week. And he's about 65 years old. What do you think, everybody? Crazy? Crazy good? Trina Colbert. We got lots and lots of nice people in here. And look, I'm willing to have an open discussion with anybody. You can disagree with me if you want to, but if you're going to disagree with me, unless you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, it's just a conversation. It's not a scientific conversation. It has no validity, not because of me, but in the medical world, because I went through that. With no peer-reviewed human trial studies, whatever you're talking about is nonsense in the medical world. I'm not saying you're nonsense. I'm just saying that's the truth. Yes, it gets rid of cellulite. Yes, yes, yes. Trina, hello. How are they losing? Wendy Powell. It's actually Tolbert. Oh. So should I call you Tolbert or call you Trina? Okay, well, okay. Yay. Yay, Trina. Oh, You guys are overwhelming me now. Okay, I'm going to do it. Or I give up. White flag, surrender for a moment. Okay, what did they do? Okay, let's come back to Kristen because I think all the women can relate to this probably more. Now listen, everyone. She only wanted to lose 30 pounds. She lost 21 pounds. That's 70% of what she wanted to lose in 30 days. I know you're all having trouble wrapping your heads around this and probably a lot of run for the hills and think I'm crazy and he's BSing us. No, I'm not. It's not even my research, and it's no product to buy. What? No, there's no lotion, potion, pill, magic elixir. You're going to lose weight. So we're going to drink something to burn fat. That's all such silliness. Silliness. There's no medical proof behind any of that. But these researchers who did this, the top weight loss research physiologists in the world who have no products, they're scientists looking for a solution for weight loss and health. So what they figured out was diets can't possibly work by counting calories because the human body has no idea what a calorie even is. Let's start with that. The only thing your body cares about and the only thing your body can count is nutrition. That's it, period. End of the story. So what they said, that's what we need to concentrate on. So the theory was, here's what they wanted to accomplish. Would it be possible to give people less food, but find foods with more nutrition? Sounds like an oxymoron, but it wasn't. All right? So they put together a food list that all of you would get: proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But no calorie counting, period. No calorie counting. They gave you serving sizes. That's really critically important because they calculated, like, let's say it was a vegetable. Is it a third or a half a cup of vegetable, depending on what the vegetable is? It's all laid out for you. You don't have to, there's nothing for you to figure out. You just follow the steps that they laid out. It's exactly what the people did in the medical studies. Don't you want to do that? Or you want to go off on your own and go down a side road? I'm being facetious. Of course you don't. All right, so 30% of the food, you would get a food list, no calorie counting, serving sizes. The other 70% is why this worked. They found other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, and New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food, including in nutrients that came from areas called blue zones, where, hell, people living to be 100 years old. It's like a normal thing. I want to put that in my body. I don't know about what you. So 30% of the food was from the grocery store, 70% was from these exotic foods around the world, and then this is the world's first nutritional system. There's a synergistic relationship, not just between what you're going to eat now, but using these new models with maximum nutrition, they created two new ways for you to eat, or what they call them eating patterns. The first one, or the whole thing, is called protein pacing. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, of a new way to eat. So what do? 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. You're going to start with these exotic foods from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, for breakfast. No food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, you're going to be having 4 meals a day. 2 days a week. Now, don't spin out on me when I tell you this. You're going to do 48 hours intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. Get that out of your mind. You're going to have no food from the grocery store. You're only going to consume the foods from these exotic foods around the world, but this time, you're going to eat 8 times a day. What? Are you crazy? Because diabetics say, oh my God, I'm going to have an insulin spike. No, they didn't have an insulin spike. Nobody had an insulin spike. And people weigh 300 pounds. We're not hungry. Again, let me get the concept across to you. You never, ever, ever, ever have been hungry for calories. Never. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. I would venture to say, well, Wendy, that's what I'm explaining to you now. I hope that's okay, Wendy. Because I don't always look at the comments, everybody, so it's not like I'm being rude. I'm just so concentrated on what I'm saying because I know I have such a small amount of time to catch your attention. So in a month's time, people's hunger went down 41%. She lost no water weight and gained, with no exercise allowed, 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Most of you women on this overall lose a whole dress size in a week with no exercise. Now, why didn't they exercise? Because the researchers wanted to isolate exercise. Otherwise, you would have said, well, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. It was just this protocol. Now, if you exercise, it's even better, and you certainly can exercise. And part of the reason you get a coach is they'll walk you through all that. Because one size doesn't fit all. We got kids as young as 2 doing this. We got a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids, people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, preventing any diseases, but all we're doing is sharing with you what's in the published, in these big medical journals. These aren't scientific papers. These are peer-reviewed human trial studies that cost a fortune, take a long time. And it's you won't, again, put in the chat, anybody. Can anybody tell me an influencer you're following right now who's got shown you one shred of medical evidence? I know there's doctors and chiropractors and they write on whiteboards. They don't have one shred of evidence. They're giving you a bunch of this chatter. Yeah, I'm pretty damn excited about this. I'm not angry, I'm excited. I'm very energetic. I'm very I'm doing your bidding for all of you. There's no way you would know about this unless you're on this podcast. There are no products to buy. Well, I mean, it's not like you're going down to Costco and buy this kind of food. 30% of the food you will buy, it's got to be organic, okay, number one. But only 30% of what you're going to consume. Do you know the number one reason to do this is not weight loss, everybody? Number one reason to do this, you know what the number one reason is? Detoxification. Now, how can I say that? Because we know that every person, including me, has this new medical syndrome called TDOS. T for toxicity, D for nutrition deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark by the U.S. Patent Office. So you've heard of metabolic syndrome. You've probably heard of syndrome X. This is a new medical syndrome. Who invented? Oh, Peter Greenlaw. I wonder who that. Oh, gosh, that's me. I guess I invented it. I didn't invent it. I discovered it. But what you all need to understand, and I don't mean to scare you and shock you, but we're all ingesting on a daily basis now herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon. Breathing, drinking, eating. Even if you think eat clean, even organic food has 25 to 30% of the herbicides and pesticides in regular food. So that dog don't hunt. So the researchers, what they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved this was what's called mobilizing toxins coming out of the body. The reason she shrank is really pretty simple. What all our bodies are doing to protect us from these chemicals, because the immune system can't deal with them. So the body, to protect us from them doing more damage, takes the chemical and stuffs it in what's called your visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs, and especially in the abdomen, stomach, diaphragm area. You can see it. But also look at her hips. She shrank. Can you all see that? Shrank. We didn't Photoshop that. We don't have to Photoshop. Look at Julie. Here's a better example. 35 pounds in 37 days. Her whole look at her. Look at her. Can everybody see that? With no exercise? They wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising? This will make every diet completely obsolete. Totally, 100%. Why would you ever go on a diet again if you're exposed to this? And right there in blue above her head, the website, the New Health Conversation. You type that in Google, I'm going to show you right now, everybody. Look. Type in remember, it's going to be the New Health Conversation. Don't you think we need one? You think the conversation we're having now is working? Calories in, calories out? It goes to Google. There's the website. There's nothing to buy there. You can't buy a thing on there. Only thing you're going to get on there is the medical proof. Like number one is an exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world who says in the interview, the top people will never put a patient on a traditional diet ever again. They said it would be unethical. For all of you, why would you go on a diet for 8 weeks to lose 25 to 40% of your lean muscle, only to gain it back when you can lose that much weight in a week on this and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass and lose no water weight? I know it sounds crazy. That's why we give you the website to go to see the medical proof. I don't want you to believe me. Yes. Chris is saying the environment has become more polluted over the decades. Yep, exactly. So Trina, did you hear all of that? Do you understand? And did Wendy, did you hear all of that so you understand what's going on? Tolbert, I meant to call you Tolbert. So again, Tolbert, what do you think about what I just shared with you? Do you understand why this is so radically, it's not a diet, it has nothing to do with dieting. The number one reason to do it is to detox your body, which we all need to do. Number two is maintenance. How simple is maintenance, everybody? You simply have these exotic foods for breakfast, 2 normal meals, and then every couple months do another 48 hours. That's what I do every day. And I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. And once I lost the weight, that's all I've been doing. and I've maintained it. And I still enjoy. I just came back from vacation. I was up in Maine. I don't know if you're not from this country, you probably wouldn't appreciate that. But I was eating pizza and French fries and, I mean, lobster and everything. I came back. I didn't gain a pound. I was on. All I did was I just stayed on maintenance. I was having an exotic meal every morning, and then I had two other meals, and some of them were. And I'll admit, I did have a couple adult beverages. I was on vacation. Give me a break. I mean, when I'm in town, which I am now, I live in Denver. I do 7 days a week, anywhere from 4 to 5 of these podcasts a day, every day, day in and day out, because the need is so enormous. And my goal, our goal at the New Health Conversation is to make you aware of what's available. Like I said on the website, there's nothing to buy there. And if you do decide to do it, you're going to buy food from your grocery store and from these exotic foods around the world, and then we're going to teach you how to consume it. We all got coached. We all got coached. So, how many inches on the waist do the women usually lose? Oh, in 30 days, Coco? Gosh, some of them as much as six, depending how big they are, but I'd say, oh my God, 6 inches, easy. If they have 50, 60 pounds to lose, let's say, I would say that's almost the average that women that want to do this. I mean, a few people like her, she only had 30 pounds. That's why I like to use her as an example, because she only had 30 pounds to lose. But do the math. She lost 70% of what she wanted to lose in a month. And it was Liza or someone, yeah, I think it was Liza. She said it took her a year to lose 20 pounds, only to gain it all back, and she was killing herself. I mean, which one would you choose? Like Tolbert, which would you choose? This or give me any diet out there. It's not even, it's no. Oh, I can call you Trina. Oh, okay, I see. Well, you can tell I get pretty excited, and sometimes my brain gets ahead of my mouth. But anyway, Trina, okay, I'm going to call you Trina. That's easier for me, okay? Now, you understand, it's live with me. This is real. I mean, I'm here. It's not AI. Maybe somebody wish I was, because you could pull the plug on me, whatever. And Trina, you see the website where you can go to if you choose, right? The New Health Conversation. So that's not a link. That's you have to type it into Google, because you can't put links on here. That's part of the community guideline. It's okay. I'm totally in alignment with I love the community guidelines, because we're the most stringent. We're the only ones with peer-reviewed human trial, with real medical studies and real medical proof. Isn't that exciting? So we're at 2,600 likes. Hey, we're doing good. Come on, everybody, keep tapping. We're at 42 minutes. Yes, I do. Oh, okay. So you understand now that's where you go, right? The coaching is free, Trina, 100%. We all got coached. And there's no gimmicks, Trina. It's not like, well, the consultation's $100. No, the consultation is zero. The coaching is zero. Trina, I'm telling you, over the years, you can't believe how many people put in the chat. How much is the coaching? I know it. I'm not laughing at anybody. I'm just laughing because that's our society. That's how skeptical people are today. Have I not made it clear the coaching is zero? Oh, wow. Yeah, Trina, you're right. That is true. And Trina, and you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but how much would you like to lose? And what maybe have you tried in the past? How tall are you? How much do you weigh? If you don't want to do it, it's fine. But then I'll give you a realistic, down to earth, how long would it take you to get to that goal? Because obviously I've been doing this for a while, and I know the numbers backwards and forwards. See, what I want to show you here, this is pretty average. This isn't really, I mean, my friend's daughter, now that's getting into a extraordinary range, right? That's crazy. The thing that's so impressive about that is she averaged 5 pounds a week for 3 months. A lot of these diets, maybe you could lose, most of the time if you lose a pound or 2 pounds in the first week, you're doing great. For us, the kind of the bare minimum is at least 5 pounds a week. That's normal, right? Okay, so what if I told you, I'm just trying to think about it, easily by middle of September, third week in September, easy, you're going to be down 40 pounds. How much would that excite you? That's without exercise. For exercise, it might even be faster. But I'd rather underpromise than overperform. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'd rather give you, I mean, if you do it sooner, are you going to be mad at me? I'd rather do that than to tell you what's, yeah, yeah, none of them worked. None of them worked. Yeah, Trina, I always tell women, what the most expensive part of this is? I always say it's the new wardrobe you have to buy. You know what they always tell me? No, Peter, you don't understand. I can go shopping in my own closet. I don't know if that's true for you. I'm not making any. Yes, I exercise already. That's cool. Okay, great. So, Trina, are you a little bit excited, at least about the prospect of going and looking and seeing the medical proof? Trina, I don't want you to believe me. Do you get it? Listen to me. I'm the researcher of the researchers. Okay? I didn't do the research, but we're bringing it to you so you can see it. Where else would you hear about this? Where else would you hear about this? We're not running infomercials. It's a waste of time. We would never do that. Oh, great. Great. Super. Yeah, thank you, Trina. That's really wonderful. And come on, everybody, keep tapping. We're at 3,200 likes. I know we can get more than that, more than that, more than that, more than that. I love those hearts. It inspires me, and you can tell I don't need too much to set me off. I just feel like I have the most incredible job in the world because I get to see these transformations. Like, this is my friend's daughter. That's his daughter. Someone was accused me a little while ago. No, that's a different woman. Really? Oh, really? Oh, very cool. So, and you just came on now, Trina? I'm kidding. I would have thought you would have come on like watching the first one. Oh my gosh, no, I'm really I'm having fun. I love helping all of you. Look, I I'll share two personal stories with you, with everybody. Sorry, but the reason I found out about this, that 23, well, a little bit over 23 years ago, I went in for my yearly physical, and my doctor comes in to go over my blood work and says, Peter, I'm really sorry to tell you, but if you don't do something radically different when you walk out of here, you've got an 85% chance of a heart attack within 18 months. And I had a son in middle school and one about ready to go to high school. I think I was scared. And so he put me on diet, exercise, and drugs for cholesterol. My cholesterol was 400, everybody. My triglycerides were 300, okay? So I did traditional diet for 8 weeks, went back. I'd lost 8 pounds in 8 weeks on a regular diet, starving myself, exercise, and doing all the normal kind of things. And he was thrilled with the 8 pounds a pound a week. I didn't know anything about this. But my cholesterol only came down about 15 points, and he says, I can't give you any meds. Now what? Well, a friend of mine who had played football in the National Football League for the Oakland Raiders turned me on to this, went on. I lost 8 pounds in 4 days, 12 pounds in 9 days, 20 pounds in 18 days, 30 pounds in a month, 40 pounds in 7 weeks, and went back the next week, it was scheduled, follow up, and this time my doc comes in, throws my chart down, and I'm not telling anybody to do what I did, so don't hear that. I'm just sharing my own personal story. And he said, Peter, we need to retest you. I said, why? He said, your cholesterol's gone from 400 to 120. Your triglycerides gone from 300 to 30. I went, you're not retesting me. And then another doctor friend of mine, I hadn't seen her in a couple of months, and she was really acting weird. And I said, what's going on? She said, can I ask you what? She said, are you sick? Do you have the big C? I said, because I lost 40 pounds. And well, she hadn't seen me in 2 months. And I told her, and she said, oh my God, she said, I'm treating all my she was a gastroenterologist. I'm treating all my gastrointestinal patients with this protocol. The chemist who invented it's coming to Denver in 2 weeks and come and tell you a story. I was there. I was only a layperson. Everybody else, they were all medical doctors. So I told him my story, and the chemist, who was a diabetic, by the way, pulled me aside and said, that's an incredible story. He said, I need someone like you to tell the world about it. I go, well, that's great, except one problem. I was a finance major in college. I don't even know what a calorie is. He said, I'll teach you. And that's how this whole thing started. The second story I think that many of you can relate to. My own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy, but I loved her. She was awesome. Her name was Grace. And 24 years ago, almost 25 years now, she called me up and said, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend one day thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's really great. Well, little did I know, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom was like 62 years old when she died. I hate diets. I'm going to be honest. I hate them. That's why I've gone on this crusade. I became a researcher in this field. And early on, I was involved really with toxins. That was my first sort of, I was looking at this going, how come we're storing all these chemicals in our body and no one's talking about it? Now they are. You're seeing it in the national press all the time. You're going to see more and more. You have to understand this is not a diet. You have to understand it's not a calorie count. You have to understand it's not an exercise. The most important part of this whole thing is the detox. And the reason she shrank so much from her face to her arms to her body is she detoxed, as all of these people did, including, I mean, look at Curtis. 40.8 pounds and 52 inches in a month. His A1C goes from 8.4 to 6.4 and triglycerides 242 to 124. That's in 30 days. Are you serious? But look at his blood work, everyone. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. No, Trina, I'm a researcher. Oh, thank you very much, Trina. I appreciate that. I really, really miss her. I mean, she was brokenhearted. And the thing about it is, I really believe Trina and everybody else. My mom dieted herself to death. She did every kind of diet there was. I'd see her lose 20, gain 25 back. Now I understand how bad that is on your overall health by doing that, because she kept losing lean muscle mass. Well, last time I checked, our heart's a muscle. You see where I'm going? You understand that diets by counting calories and losing weight that way actually makes you unhealthy. I want everybody to understand that. So Trina, we'd love to help someone like you, and you obviously are nowhere even in a category like my mom or a lot of the people that we work with. You know what's also sad? We got 50% of our kids now overweight, and about 30% of them are now type 2 diabetics. 35 years ago, type 2 diabetes in children didn't even exist. And you see, we have a global problem now on our hands. Okay, let me explain it to you. So the recent studies estimate 2.5 billion people worldwide are overweight, and 1 billion of those are clinically obese. And the big study that was done by the Lancet, which is considered probably the #1 medical journal in the world, who did the studies, they said that obesity now is the leading form of malnutrition in the world. What? Yeah. And they said because people aren't getting the right amount of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and botanicals. The reason now I understand why my mother, who had this voracious appetite, but it wasn't for calories. She thought it was, she was eating cupcakes and cake and whatever it was. No, her body was begging her for more nutrition. That's what these researchers did. That's what they figured out. And all these people that are running around telling you about calorie deficit, I just feel sorry for them, because I think they're nice people. I think they're well-intentioned. But everything we've ever been taught about diet, exercise, and nutrition is totally wrong. Just is. I mean, would anybody like to try and support the fact that we're talking about, even when you've got Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. We've been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500 and you lose about a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out, when it comes to weight loss, is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. It's exactly what these researchers did. They have no affiliation with Harvard. But, it's so shocking when you see, look at this. This is from Medicare, everybody. Trina, everybody. I want just to share remember, I'm not giving you any opinions. I'm only giving you medical facts. All right? Now, maybe you don't like the facts, but it doesn't change the scientific outcome, right? So here's what Medicare said. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. That's Medicare, everybody. And yet the majority of you, sadly, you're going to go back to whatever diet you're on. I had someone the other day count macros about how effective that is. Do you know when they analyze like the weight loss on, including counting macros, it was a pitiful 4 pounds in 3 months. She lost 5 pounds in a week. Why even have a discussion? How could you not be interested in this? All these diets. I mean, think about that. That's like a pound a month. And they're telling me it's great. Count your macros. Really? Good luck with that. I mean, the whole thing is just silly. The whole thing is just crazy. The whole thing is just out of control. So tap on that screen, everybody. Let's get some more likes. We're at 3,800. I know we can go through 4,000 because I'm way short. I'm not anywhere close to being done. Because I want more people. I want more people to understand, to have a chair. Oh, there we go. There goes some hearts. Thank you all very, very much. Trina, do you understand this could change the rest of your life? You understand it's not about, there's no doubt in our mind we're going to get the weight off you. But imagine, okay, let's project forward, okay? So let's just say, what was I saying? Third week in October, about, right? No, I said September. But imagine, let's say it's the end of September, pick out your favorite dress, you go to whatever restaurant, and you walk in and you're down 40 pounds. How are you going to feel? You don't have to answer. I'm projecting, okay? But you can imagine what my friend's daughter thinks now. You think her life is different? You think her life is, so enriched? And she did it. But it's not hard to do it. That's what I want to tell everybody. You're not hungry. Do you get it? If anything, sometimes people can't believe they're not hungry. We have to tell them you have to have 4 meals a day when you're on 5 days a week. Not 3. Don't skip any meals. This is not a diet. That's why you need a coach to make sure to teach you, look, this is what you need to do if you want that kind of a result. Yeah, absolutely, Trina. I mean, you have your whole life ahead of you. And I can't imagine, because I know my mom. I always say, what were the prices my mom paid for having the weight that she never could lose? Oh, she lost 20, I don't know, over her lifetime, oh my God, she probably lost a car. But she always gained it all back. And later in life, she was on beta blockers and water pills and high blood pressure medication and cholesterol medication and diabetes and all this kind of stuff. And she had a house on the ocean in Maine. She loved to go out and pick up seashells and all that. Well, it got to the point we just couldn't do that anymore. I mean, if she walked, 100 feet, she'd be out of breath. Really sad. I didn't know what to do. But that phone call really became a rallying cry for me, something that, allows me to support all of you. I'll tell you, I was really proud that I got a chance to coach these 2 women. This is the cover of Women's World, everybody, the #1 women's magazine in the world. June 9th issue this year. You can get it online. It's not in the newsstands anymore. But the daughter, who's a nurse, she's 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80, she lost 90 pounds in a little less than a year, and they both have kept it off now for 3 years. I just talked to the daughter a little while ago, because what they're doing now, everybody's asking them, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? So guess what they're doing? They're coaching people. So cool. It's just so cool. Because it's so gratifying okay, Jamie, how much is it? Jamie, the best way I can answer, take whatever you spent on food last month, whatever that total number is, take 30% you're going to spend at the grocery store, and the 70% that left, if it doesn't pay for all of those exotic foods, maybe it'll cost you $25 more a week than what you spent now. It's very affordable because you're buying directly from the research. No middleman. You're not going to your store and buying this. If this was sold through a store, it would be outrageously expensive because of the markups that they have to. I mean, they have overhead. I'm not belittling stores. And 30% of what you're going to buy from your store. You're going to get a grocery list, all organic. Does that make sense, Jamie? I mean, I hope it does. That's the only way I can answer it, because I don't know how much you spend a month on food, and it also is going to depend too, as far as, obviously we have people that need to lose, 150, 80, 90, 100 pounds. So those are all varying differences. I can tell you this, that maintenance is about as cheap as a cup of Starbucks coffee. And I'd much rather have the world's most perfect meal in my body than a cup of Starbucks coffee. Nothing against Starbucks. I don't really drink coffee, so it's not really a good analogy for me, I guess, to use. So it makes sense, you're saying, Jamie. Cool. And Jamie, did you get a hands? I apologize, everybody. I did it. The one podcast I did before was 3 hours. I hope my voice doesn't sound too scratchy. That's my biggest limitation. I get to the point where I can't talk anymore. But Jamie, I've gone through it a couple times about exactly what they did to achieve these results. It's not a diet. It's not about calorie counting. And no one was allowed to exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. And it's not that the researchers were against exercise, but they wanted to eliminate exercise. Otherwise, you would have said, Jamie, it was diet and exercise. And I'm happy to go through it if you didn't hear me explain what these researchers invented. And there's no products to buy. Like when you ask me, how much is it? There's no products. There's no capsule, no elixir, no, nothing like that. So, namaste. I know it well. Except I gotta admit, that yoga stuff, I know it's wonderful. Man, do I love when I did it, and I did hot yoga, which was even better. I don't know why I stopped. Maybe I should go back and do it again. It's just that I'm so darn busy. I do have a trainer. I do work out a couple times a week, but that's a whole different thing. So again, Jamie, did you get to hear me do the rundown? Or any of the new people coming on, are you curious about... And the reason I like this lady right here, this woman, is because she only had 30 pounds to lose. And if you look at the numbers, she lost 70%. Well, she lost 21 pounds in a month. That's not fake. That's 5 pounds a week, a little over that, right? And 38 inches. And look at her hips and stomach area, everybody. That's without exercise. Oh, okay, Jamie, let me explain it to you, okay, and everybody else, right? All right, so hopefully this will all make sense. The researchers who invented this have no products, they have no company. But they're ranked, Jamie, the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Got it? So they have no product. They had done 100 studies on human beings, what are called peer-reviewed human trial studies, over 40 years. And they were paid to analyze pretty much every diet you could name, from paleo to keto to Mediterranean to Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisys. They're the top researchers in the world. And sadly, after 40 years, they came to a conclusion and they said, we just can't do this anymore. We have never found a diet where anybody was able to lose weight and keep it off. And 2/3 of the people that we followed gained back more weight than they lost. They said there's a fundamental flaw in all diet approaches, and that has to do with counting calories. I'm not going to put you on the spot, Jamie. I didn't know what a calorie was 23 years ago when I started. And I've had 9 people in a year give me the actual definition of a calorie. And yet I'm assuming you're counting calories or have, and your body has no idea what a calorie is. So the researchers said, we're going to abandon calorie counting, a new concept. We're going to give you serving sizes. But the researchers selected foods with high amounts of nutrition and even lesser qualities of food, because it isn't about how much or how little food you eat. It's making sure you have enough nutrition, which runs... See, we're alive because of air, water, and nutrition, not calories. The body has no idea what a calorie even is, okay? So they said, we're going to put together a food list, which they did, Jamie. Here's part of your cost. So about 25 to 30% of what you maybe spent last month, you're going to buy this month from your grocery store. This is the averages that people tell me, right? Because you're going to get serving sizes, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, vegetables, and even salad dressings. But no calorie amounts, serving sizes. Very important. Before you think you're going to be starving to death, I want to get the concept across to you and everybody. It has nothing to do with calories. It has nothing to do with the amount of food you're eating. It only has to do with the amount of nutrition. And when your body has enough nutrition, the brain's comfortable, you will never be hungry. Because if you are hungry, it's because you don't have enough nutrition, not because you don't have enough calories. Does that make sense, Jamie? Give me a yes if you think that's a yes. Now, so that was 30% of what you're going to eat in a month. The other 70% literally comes from other researchers who'd spent 20 years, and they went physically to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities. And if you did this, you would buy directly from them. Nothing from us, nothing from the coaches, nothing from these researchers. There's no products to buy other than food. Those foods, in combination with the 30% of the food you buy from a grocery store, would make up what you're going to eat in a month. Now, what is so different about this is called a nutritional system. Because the other part of it was a new way of eating called protein pacing. Let me make it in simpler terms. It was really about eating patterns, meaning it was when you ate, how much you ate, and when you ate. So 5 days a week, you'd be having 4 meals a day. You'd start your day with these exotic foods from around the world. That's breakfast. Nothing from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store list you have, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, you're eating 4 times a day, until you lose your weight, by the way. Then 2 days a week, you're going to do something, I don't want to flip you out, but listen carefully. Intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time you're going to eat 8 times a day. You heard me, about every hour and a half to 2 hours. And diabetics on this, for example, no one had an insulin spike. People that weighed 300 pounds were not hungry. Now, how is it nutritional fasting? Because what she was consuming was tiny amounts of food you'd be used to, but huge amounts of nutrition. And because that's the only thing the body cares about, again, it's not about how much food you can ingest, it's about how much nutrition you can give. And when you can satisfy the body, it only cares about having enough nutrition. It's like filling up your gas tank to the top. That's what it boils down to. Okay, in a month's time, hunger for everybody came down 41%. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down dramatically. But here's the big one, and the number one reason to do this is because everybody, including me and you, Jamie, have this new medical syndrome called TDOS. The T stands for toxins or toxicity. The D is for nutritional deficiency in the food in North America, overweight and stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office granted it. Peter Greenlaw, that happens to me. I did discover it, but let's go a little bit deeper. We now know that we didn't know that we're storing chemicals in our fat cells. It's not up for debate. Herbicides, pesticides, Scotch Guard, all these wonder chemicals we have in our world, well, we're breathing them, we're drinking them, we're eating them. And what the body does to protect us, it takes the chemical when it comes in the body. The immune system can't deal with it. The liver's overwhelmed, can't deal with it. The body then, to save us, takes the chemical and stuffs it inside our visceral fat, Jamie. That's the visceral fat, is the fat around the organs, but also in the abdomen, stomach, diaphragm area. You can see it on her. You see the bloating. No, she wasn't pregnant. That's the bloating people get from the accumulation of the chemicals. Well, the researchers did, which they don't, no one ever does this on normal diet analysis. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and muscle analysis, but those 4, blood, stool, urine, and fat, they proved this was doing what? Assisting the body in removing the chemicals from the body, and literally that's why her fat cells shrank, and that's why you see her stomach on day 30 dramatically different than day 1. I mean, look at her hips. Look at everything shrank. And then, so number 1 is detox. No diet's ever done this, Jamie. There's no diet in history ever that even showed a gram of tox. Because if they do studies, they only talk about the weight people lose. But it's the body composition that causes us healthy. If you can reduce the amount of visceral fat you have and increase your lean muscle, you're going to be way healthier. No, she lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. Now, you can exercise, of course you can. That's why you get a coach. You'll notice right above your head there, Jane, the new health conversation. That you type that in Google. It's not a link. We can't put links on here, so we don't. We follow the community guidelines, right? The new health conversation. You go to that website. I'm going to show it to you right now, everybody. Go to Google, type in the new health conversation. If you go there, Jamie, we will not contact you. Please understand, we don't need to do that. We're too busy. We want you to have the opportunity to see the medical proof. There it is. There's nothing, no books. My books aren't on there. There's nothing on that website to buy. But number 1 is a podcast with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. And he says in the podcast, after 40 years, they'll never, to their patients, they're the number 1 weight loss people in the world. They said they'll never recommend to any patient ever again a traditional diet because of this. They said, why would we have people take 8 weeks to lose 25 to 40% of their lean muscle mass when you can lose this kind of weight and lose no muscle mass? You can lose in a week what took you 2 months on any diet, maybe faster. So, Jamie, does that all make sense now? So for any of you, does anybody have a question about what I just covered? Yes, it makes sense. And again, Jamie, like I said, the New Health Conversation, you type it in Google, and I promise on my kids' lives and my grandkids' lives, we're not going to contact you. We don't need to convince you. We shouldn't have to do that. If the medical, look, what you're going to get to see are the actual published peer-reviewed human trial studies. They're on the site. We have nothing to hide. We're totally transparent. I see people on TikTok, they want to charge you for recipes and then you get a coach. Why are you buying a recipe? You want a recipe? Go to Martha Stewart or something. That's ridiculous. People are falling for it. They are. But this, I'm saying to all of you, can anybody tell me anybody on social media that you see with peer-reviewed human trial medical studies? They're all giving you opinions, and just because you write on a whiteboard, that doesn't mean anything. And with all due respect, I see medical MDs, I see chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and fitness people and weight loss coaches. They're all saying the same thing, calorie reduction, calorie reduction. But all the big studies are saying don't. Let me read you what the experts are saying about calorie. This is unbelievable. The calories in, calories out model is a public health disaster. Adopted by nearly 100% of dieters, yet it drives an obesity apocalypse that threatens to engulf mankind. Calories in, calories out, near universal failure is undeniable. Studies in the Lancet 2021 and obesity reviews reveal that 50 to 70% of diets on calories in, calories out diets regain more weight than they lose. It's driven by metabolic adaptations, why they're gaining all the weight back. Notably, the surge in ghrelin, the hunger hormone. Ghrelin, which signals hunger to the brain, spikes during calorie restriction, intensifying cravings and appetite. So ghrelin tells you you're hungry. When you go on a diet, now you've lowered the only thing your body cares about is nutrition. That's why you're so ravenously hungry on these diets. How do you think people get to 500 pounds? They don't understand. It's not about how much food they're eating. And when they get addicted to food, they want more. You know, some of them eat. I watched this show, My 600-Pound Life. It's really sad. Now, my mom wasn't 600 pounds, but my mom was very, very large. And I'd see her just eat. She'd eat all day long. She just eat. She was never full, never satisfied. Of course, I was a kid. I didn't know anything about this. And I've learned all this after she passed away from being morbidly obese. My mom died of dieting, essentially. The diets caused her to. It's a really sad story. I don't want to go into it anymore. I don't need to get more emotional than I am. So who else would like to ask me a question? Oh, we're at 4,000 likes. Thank you all so much. Again, if you're coming on, give me some taps. And if you're coming on new, just like I did for Jamie a moment ago, I'm more than happy to walk through what and how they did. Hello, Raymond. I see you over there. So, Jamie, does that sound pretty amazing? At least enough curious to go and see the medical proof. I don't want you to believe me, Jamie. I'm sort of giving you the 50,000 view of this. But when you go and listen to this, researcher talk, I promise you'll abandon any diet you're even thinking about doing. If we're talking about the top expert in the world, I think we'd want to listen to him. That's why I say I don't want you to believe me. My job is to bring the information. My job is to bring the medical proof, and then you make a decision. That's what that website's all about. As I showed you, Jamie, there's nothing on there to buy. And you scroll down and you get a free and I don't know if I told you this or not, Jamie, but the 70% of the food you're going to buy, I don't think I told you this. Wait till I tell you this. Those researchers, they'll give you 100% of your money back in the first month if it doesn't work. No questions asked. They'll even pay return shipping. How about that? What diet is offering you that, anybody? Because this is not a diet, number one. And nothing's 100%. You think I'd say that? I'm not that stupid. You all have a chance to change the rest of your lives. And it's as simple as going to the website. At least explore the medical proof. Who else is giving you that option? Oh, great, Jamie. Wonderful. Hey, Jamie, thank you so much for participating. We love helping people, and hopefully we can help you, okay? Thanks so much for listening. So anybody else? This is live, everybody. It's not pre-recorded. Why would you want to listen to me? Well, Let's see, I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I wrote 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on PBS public broadcasting. I was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America and did over 1,500 live lectures in hospitals and universities and towns in the United States, Canada, Mexico. They even flew me to China, believe it or not, to talk about, these protocols. So I'm not just some guy, okay? So who else would like to ask me a question? Hello, hello, hello. Raymond, did you have a question for me? I see you over there, Raymond. Come on, everybody. We got dropouts. I don't like dropouts. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get some taps on that screen. We're at 4,200. I'm sure we can go way beyond 4,200. Well, would anybody else like to ask me a question? Manny joined. Hi, Manny. Oh, Manny's gone. Bye, Manny. Oh, my goodness. It's so much fun. Oh, I don't know, maybe they're not interested in weight loss. Maybe that's part of it. But it's not about weight loss. It's about maximizing your health. This is a health system. This is a nutritional system. It's not a diet. The fact that you can lose weight at like 10. Well, look at it this way. They're saying on like count your macros or calories in, calories out. I've got the numbers somewhere here. I just want to make sure I'm accurate. I always like to be accurate. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's what they said in the analysis of diets, right? So what did they say? So what they said is that macro counting or calories in, calories out approaches deliver, this is their language, not mine, deliver pitifully inadequate results. Meager 4 pounds in 3 months. 4 to 10 pounds in 3 to 6 months. She lost 5 pounds in a week. And a devastating 25 to 50% erosion of lean muscle mass that cripples your metabolism by 10. By losing lean muscle mass, they're saying you cripple your metabolism by 10 to 20%, weakening your immune system, so increasing infection risk up to 20%. I mean, what are we doing, everybody? It's certainly not working, is it? Does anybody think diets are working? Because here's the numbers. From 1990 until 2025, that's 35 years, do the math, obesity has doubled. See, we can't stay ahead of this thing. In Johns Hopkins Medical School, this is really sort of the final draw here, right? Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans will be overweight by 2030. And by 2048, all American adults, we estimate, will become overweight or obese. So do we have to get to 100% before you're going to say, I don't think these diets are working? Go to the beach. Go to the mall. Go look at America, everybody. My mom was morbidly obese my whole life. I lived with this. I saw it. I saw fat shaming. I would never do that. We're here because we want to try and support you. Not try. We're going to support you. Step 1 is to go to the website and see the medical proof. Why wouldn't you do that? Right? So who else would like to ask me a question? Oh, we're at 1 hour and 18 minutes. I do need to rest my voice, everybody. I'm getting a little bit hoarse here. But if anybody has a question, I'll stay just a little bit longer to answer any question, and I'll stay long enough to answer it. If not, let's see, it's 5:18 on the East Coast. So Eastern Standard Time, now it's 5:18. Let's say I'll do another one of these how about around 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? Maybe sooner, but at least I need 45 minutes or so to rest my voice, okay? All right, I guess nobody else has a question for me. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll be back on around 6 Eastern Standard Time yet today on Saturday. Thank you, everybody.